All right, hey guys, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right into it. Last video talked about just like figuring out things about polynomials, meaning just like a group of stuff, like basically what you're seeing right now, and naming them, like binomial, trinomial, how many terms, like what's the degree, all that kind of stuff. And then today we're kind of continuing that with some application, I guess, where we kind of put together some polynomials. You don't really need to know how to name them to add them up, but you know, it is what it is. Like for instance, number one, we're adding a binomial and a binomial, but you don't need to know that to add them up. So naming them is maybe important if your teacher's gonna give you a vocab quiz, but not super necessary if we're just adding them up. Let's look at how we add these up. So for number one, we have four things, right? So it is important to know, like, you know, where the things are, right? Like, and what I mean is, like, we need to know where one thing starts and one thing stops, right? So 5 is not a thing. 5p squared is all one thing, right? And then we have a minus 3, a 2p squared, and a minus 3p cubed. So there's four different things, right? And when we're adding and subtracting, they have to be what's called like terms. And you've probably heard this before, maybe already in class, and this is your worksheet and you're trying to figure it out. So this thing called like terms. Basically what that means is two things. One, it has to have the same letters. So it has to have the same letters. Same letters. And then there's actually another thing. So you might think like, oh wait, like if it has the same letters, wouldn't it be the same thing? Well, kind of. I mean, but if you look at 2p squared and then minus 3p cubed, those both have the same letters. They both have p. Exactly like there's a p and there's no other kind of letter, right? So it's like the first thing, the same letters, like that's true. But the second thing is not true. So 2p squared and minus 3p cubed, or negative 3p cubed, those are not like terms because of the second thing. The same, they have to have the same amount of letters. Amount of letters. And that's important too. So they have to have the same letters. If they have different letters, they're going to not be like terms. But they have to have the same amount of letters as well. 2p squared is like 2p's basically. Not 2 because there's a 2 in front, although kind of. But I mean the p squared. It's p squared means p times p. That's actually a different term than p cubed, which is p times p times p. You might be like, oh, well, they both have p's, but they have different amounts of p's. So like let's say p is like 3. Then 2p squared would be like 2 times 3 times 3. And then the other one would be um, minus 3 times, did I say 3 squared? Yeah, so then it would be 3 times 3 times 3, and then times another 3 because there's a 3 in front of the p cubed. That's a totally different number. Now, of course, like if p is equal to a number, then you can like add them up because now they're just numbers, right? So they don't have letters. Number one, same letters. Yeah, they both don't have any letters. And then number two, same amount of letters. They both would. So like numbers, right? Like just regular numbers, you can put those together because they're like terms as well. They don't have any letters, or the and then the amount of letters they have is 0. So they're like terms. But let's go ahead and dive in. So there's actually two things here out of the four that are like terms. 5p squared and 2p squared. Right? The number in front just says how many p squareds we have. If I have 5p squareds and I add 2 more p squareds, I'm going to have 7 total p squareds. Right? And then the other numbers, the minus 3 and then the minus 3p cubed, those are not going to combine, even though they both have 3's. They both have 3's, but they have to have the same letters and the same amount of letters. Minus 3 doesn't have any letters, so it can't combine with something that does. Not like terms. And we're done. Number 2 is a little bit different. Now notice like number 1, I didn't really try to do anything. I just kind of like was like, all right, well, like I just kind of ignored the parentheses. I don't know if you noticed that, but you can just ignore the parentheses. If there's no minus or no number right next to a parentheses, you don't actually need the parentheses to be there. If there is a parentheses, though, and you have a negative or a number, then you have to distribute that number or that negative. That's really the only difference between 1 and 2. So we're going to rewrite this first, actually. Because there's a minus here, I have to deal with that first before I can try to combine anything. The same terms that would be like terms are still going to be like terms, but they're now going to have opposite signs. Okay, so I distributed the negative into the 3. It was a positive 3a squared, so now it's a negative. The other one was minus 4a cubed. I distribute a minus into that. Minus and minus make plus, so that's why that's a 4a cubed. Okay, so actually there's two things, two pairs of things that are like terms. I have an a cubed, and the other thing too is if there's no number. If there's no number in front, right, for a cubed, there's no number in front, right? So you're like, oh, well, what number would that be? If I don't see a number, does that mean I have 0 of it? Well, no, because if you had 0a cubed, then you wouldn't have an a cubed at all. It wouldn't even be an a cubed there. So just remember, when you see a cubed and there's no visible number, it's a 1. That's how many you have. It's like when you ask somebody for a pencil in class, or somebody asks you for a pencil in class, they don't say, "Hey, can I have one pencil?" Right? That'd be kind of weird to say it like that, right? They'd just be like, "Hey, can I have a pencil?" Right? But you know when they say, "Hey, can I have a pencil?" they mean one pencil. Because if you don't specify the number of something, then it's 1. Right? I don't know if you knew that. But yeah, so that's the thing, right? So if I don't specify the number of a cubes, then there's 1a cubed, right? So 1 plus 4a cubed is 5a cubed. Minus 2, minus 3. This is integers. Be careful when you're dealing with negatives. Anytime you're dealing with negatives, you want to be careful. Minus 2, minus 3, I'm going to be adding them. Okay? And I actually have a video on integers. You can check that out. It'll be in the playlist Algebra 1 Kuta Worksheets, which is what this video is going to be in as well. You can probably just scrub to the end of the video, and I'll have a link in like pop up bottom left or bottom right, and it'll show you like the link to that playlist. So if you need a refresher on integers, you can go check that out. I have like I think I talked about like 3 different ways to deal with integers. So hopefully, if integers are still kind of tripping you up, you can go check that out, and maybe one of those methods will be a new method that you haven't heard of to think about integers, and maybe that'll help. But in the meantime, I'm not going to deal with talking about like how to put integers together. I'm just going to kind of do it, right? So if you needed a refresher, you can go check out that video. But negative 2 minus 3 is like I'm adding. If the signs are the same, I'm adding. So minus 5a squared, and then I'm actually done. These are both really similar. I have a 5a cubed and a 5a squared. I could do some factoring, but they don't ask you to do factoring. So you don't need to, right? And my thing is, like, if they're not going to ask me to do factoring, then I'm not going to do any factoring. Do the least amount of work possible to get the answer that your teacher is happy with. That's what I think. So let's go ahead and move on to the next ones, and we'll change color a little bit here. I like to kind of change the color just to keep things kind of lively. Oh, what did I do? No, I don't want to print. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. So I'll probably change every 2, but hopefully that doesn't throw you off. I just to keep things lively here. So again, the number 3, there's a plus, so I don't need to worry about the parentheses. The parentheses, nothing needs to happen there, so I can just go ahead and combine stuff. 2n cubed, 5n cubed. They both have the same n, and it's cubed, so I can put them together. 7n cubed, 2 plus 5. And then a 2 plus 4. Those don't have any letters on them at all, so of course they're like terms. They don't have any letters, so they're like terms. And then I'm actually done. That was it. It was just that and that. And I'm going to start to speed up a little bit unless I run into something new, or maybe something a little bit more complex. I'm going to start to go a little bit faster as we go here and start to speed up. So if that's cool with you, awesome. If not, then too bad, I guess. Because I think that's the most helpful way to do this, is to start off slow and then kind of pick up the pace as we go. So with number 4 here, like number 2, I'm going to have to distribute the negative. I'm not going to show the actual arrows. I'm just going to kind of do it. Right, so minus 3n cubed minus 4n. 4n minus 4n cancels. if you take anything and subtract it by itself, it goes away to 0. Any number, even really weird numbers. Like if you've heard of like the square root of 2 or the square root of -1 or really weird numbers, just the weirdest number you can possibly think of. If you take it and you subtract it by its pi, right? What about pi? Yeah, if you pi minus pi is 0, even though it's a really weird number. Anything. So that goes away. And then this is minus minus, so I'm going to add them together and get -6 in cubed. And that's it for that one. I'm going to change the color again. Just kind of move over. And then number 5. All right, so number 5, it's a minus again. I'm going to distribute that negative first. 3a squared plus 1 minus 4 minus 2a squared. And I've got two things that combine. These guys combine. That was the other thing I didn't not mention yet, actually, is if you need help, like notating things that are combining so you don't get things confused that you're combining, you can underline them or highlight or circle or box or like do a cloud or a triangle or like a zigzag. There's a lot of ways you can put something around a number to like show that it goes with something else. So I'll do a little bit of that as we go, and that's kind of my mentality. Is I'm just kind of noting what I'm combining. So like I can do that, right? And so that's 1 minus 4 is -3 a squared minus 3. Okay. Let's see. So we need to distribute that negative first. Plus 3r fourth. I almost put squared. Minus r4 plus 5r cubed. Okay, and we've got two sets of things again, right here and right here. And then maybe I'll do like a little half box thing right there. So 4r cubed and 5r cubed, that makes 9r cubed. And then right here, 3r to the 4th minus r to the 4th would be 2r to the 4th. And we're done. And I'm switching colors again. So haven't really run into anything new just yet. I'm sure we will eventually here. It gets a little crazy here at the end here. I wonder. Oh yeah, it's gonna get real cray-cray over here. 28, 29. There's 30. Wow, they get so long they have to put them on one line. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to pick up the pace a little bit here as we go. So let's go ahead and look at the next set. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. That way I can kind of do like 2 lines at a time here. And I might keep it on the same color for 4 problems instead of 2. Save a little bit of time. Let's see here. So 5a plus 4. Oh, sorry, that's a little weird looking there. Minus 3. 5a minus 5a is 0. And that's a positive 4. I know it kind of looks a little weird. I messed up when I was drawing that. 4 minus 3 is 1. The answer is literally just 1. Okay, 3x 4 minus 3x minus 3x plus 3x to the 4th. Okay, actually both of those combined. 3x to the 4th plus 3x to the 4th is 6x to the 4th. Minus 3 makes minus 6x. Okay, here we got a plus. All right, we don't have to distribute. We can just go right into it. Let's see. So here's a k4. Here's a k4. Those go together. -7k4. It's going to become more and more important to notate the things that you're dealing. The other thing too that you could do actually is, and that's kind of what I'm doing here on number 9, is you can actually just start with the biggest power. Normally they're in descending order, meaning like the biggest power is first anyways. But just look for like the biggest power, and then like kind of cross it out as you go. And then what's next? Well, here's a k2. 3 minus 14 would be the same thing as, well, it would be the opposite of 14 minus 3. So that's -11 k squared. Right? And then I kind of just cross them out as I go here. That way I know when I'm done, right? Because if there's a lot of them, then you want to make sure you get them all. You know, you want to make sure you don't miss any, right? And then this is going to be a +6. All right, 14 minus 8 is 6. And then we cross them all out so we know we're done. Another little method, if you like that, you can totally use that. Do a couple different methods as I go here. That way, if something really resonates with you and you're like, oh, hey, that makes a lot of sense actually, then you can grab that and then use that method. I wouldn't use a bunch of methods. Once you like see a method that you like, I wouldn't keep switching it up. So I keep switching it up because I'm showing you a bunch of different methods that you could do. but I wouldn't keep switching your method. Like, find a method you like, and then just stick with that one, is what I would do. Right? Okay, so we have a lot of stuff here. 5 in 5. Here's an in 5. In 5. That's going to be 2 in 5. Cross that out. Cross that out. Here's an in 4. Minus 8 plus 6. That's going to be a minus 2 in 4. Cross that out. Cross that out. And then actually these last two are not going to combine. Lately they've all been pairing up, but these two actually don't, because we have a positive 3 in and then a 3. Those are not like terms. So we actually just bring down the 3 in and the 3, right? Not everything has to pair up, and that one didn't. So there we go. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead, because I did 2 lines that time. So I'm going to move this down a little bit, and I might do the next 3 all in the same color here. But that shade of green is like basically the same thing, so I'm going to switch to yellow now. Okay, go in a little bit faster as we go here. 12a 5 minus 6a minus 10a cubed minus 10a plus 2a 5 plus 14a 4. And actually, I'm going to show you another thing you can do when you want to distribute that negative. That'll be a little bit less work, because I've been doing it a little bit kind of the long way, but I'm going to show you a faster way to distribute that negative on this next question. So I'm going to show you that after this, but let's go ahead and combine these. So 12 plus 2, that's going to be 14. A5. Right, so we got rid of the A5. We've got an A4 over here. 14a to the 4th power. There's no other a to the 4th power, though, so it would just be plus 14a to the 4th power. Right, and we're done with that. There's only one 10 to there's a to the 3rd power there as well, so that combines with nothing. Does not have a partner. These two do, though. They're both just a's, right? Just a, no powers, power of 1. So minus 6 and minus 10, we add the negatives, minus 16a. And we got them all. Cool. All right. So for this next one here, also because I let me see if I can. There we go. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna distribute this negative like without rewriting the whole thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a minus right here. I'm gonna turn that into a plus. That's gonna be a minus now, and that's gonna be a plus. Okay, you see that? So it's a little bit. It's a little bit like you have to kind of see it, right? It's not as like right in your face as rewriting the whole thing, but it's faster because I basically did the next step like I did on step 11. That very first step I did on step 11. That's kind of what I just did here on step 12, but it was faster. And then you just have to be careful to see that, okay, the 3n squared is a minus 3n squared. The 11n to the 4th is a minus, and the 7 is now a positive. But I basically just distributed that negative, but a little bit faster. And then I can get straight to the answer. Okay, so into the 4th. We've got a minus 3 and 4, minus 3 and 4, minus 11 in 4. So that's minus 14 into the 4th. Cross that out, cross that out. No in cubes. We've got 2 n squareds. So that's going to be 10 minus 3 is positive 7 n squared. Okay. And then we've got 8n and a 7. Those are not like terms, so I'm just going to list them out, and then I'm done. That's it. Pretty cool, right? You can distribute that negative without having to write it out on another line. It's a little faster, but you have to be careful, because those negatives, if you forget that something's a negative or it's switched to a positive, you'll get the wrong answer. So it's a faster method, but you have to be careful not to mess things up. So just a little warning there. Looks like the biggest power is actually a 5. And remember, that's a plus. This one's a plus, so there's a plus in between the parentheses, that is. So I don't need to distribute anything. So I just go straight into it. 13 plus 5 is 18. x5. x5. We have 2 x4s. That's a minus x4, so that means a minus 1. Remember, if you don't see a number, it's a 1, right? So minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. 6x to the 4th. Got that. And then 6 plus 6 is 12. 12x cubed. They were both x cubes. And we're done. Okay. Here, again, a plus. All right, we got a lot of pluses here. This is nice. So just start with the biggest power. Boom, boom. 9 minus 2 is 7. Oh, that looks like an N. It's an R. We'll just pretend that's an R. Gotta make that a little bit longer. That's totally an R. Okay, 9 minus 2 is 7. So those are gone. 5 minus 8 is negative 3r squared. That goes away like that. And then these are both r's, so I can combine those as well. Everything paired up. Look at that. Don't expect everything to pair up, but this one did. Okay. And these last two on this first page here are also pluses, so they're going to be pretty quick as well. I know I said to start with the biggest power, but I just noticed that's a plus and that's a minus. That cancels. Okay, here's n4. Minus 2 minus 6, that's minus 8. In to the fourth power. And if you hear me say n4, it's just short, right? Like, so obviously you wouldn't actually say it's n4. That's not like a proper way to describe it, but I don't really care about like saying things properly. If you say it and like everybody knows what you mean, like that's good enough for me. Obviously I wouldn't like say that in class. Like if your teacher's picky, like don't be like, oh, it's negative 8 n4, and your teacher's gonna be like, no, it's not n4. You don't say it like that. So I mean, if you have a picky teacher who's gonna like correct you every time you say something even a little bit off, then don't say it like I say it. But yeah, I don't really care. You don't have to say something the right way to get the answer right. All I want to do is get you the right answer. You know what I mean? Like, anyways. So that already canceled. And then these are both ends. So 11 minus 3, that's going to be 8 as well. Positive 8. Positive 8. Done and done. Okay. Looks like 5 is the largest power. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. X 5. Cross that out. Cross that out. We've got an x4 right here. There's no other x4s. So I'm just going to write x4. There's two x's. 7 minus 2 is 5. Right? Or negative 2 plus 7. 5x. That goes away, that goes away. And then there's a 14 left over. So 14. Whew. All right, that's a lot of yellow. We're switching colors to orange. Orange, you glad I'm not using yellow anymore? Okay. So these are a little bit closer together. I just realized that. It's all good. We're gonna knock these out nonetheless. We'll do 3 rows again. I think we can handle it. And let's do that little trick. So we got lucky and had a bunch of pluses, but this one's a minus. Let's do that little minus trick. Minus. That's going to turn into a plus. Oh, forgot to turn it back. Plus, minus, minus, plus. Right? Everything that's a plus turns into a minus. Everything that's a minus turns into a plus. Minus and minus make plus. Right? So basically, if you're distributing a negative, you're just going to change the sign of everything. Right? Plus becomes minus, minus becomes plus. Okay. Largest power is a 5. So that's going to be a 4x5. Then we have a 3 is the next one. Minus 13 minus 2 is minus 15x3. Okay. And 11x minus 11x. That didn't cancel with anything. And then 7 minus 8 is minus 1. Yeah, we're getting to the point now where there's pretty much nothing else they can throw at us. So we're kind of just finishing out the last of it here. So as we finish out this last one here, and I'm gonna try to talk and write at the same time. I think explaining what I'm doing and writing at the same time is possible, but for some reason, like talking about something else while writing is really hard for me. I'm really terrible double tasking. But anyways, as we're starting to round this off here, if you haven't gotten my awesome free guide, it is called The 5 Math Mistakes Everyone Makes and How to Avoid Them. When I retitle it, it'll basically be something like, the five keys to getting math answers right or something like that. Kind of going to be the same document, except it's going to have more of a focus on getting the answers right instead of avoiding the wrong answer. So if you want something like that, if you think something like that might be helpful, like a little guide just on some tips and pro tips that I've got like over the years, just kind of like noticing how people normally get problems wrong and how you normally correct it to get them right, if that sounds like something that might be helpful, you can grab that on my website, myersmathematics.com, where I will also start having more and more resources on there, like just free resources, um, like like this kind of stuff. Like I'll have a running list of all of these worksheets with all the solutions in them. I've been saving all of them, and I'll put them all up on my website soon, probably once I get closer to ending this series. And you can check that out. And so I'll have a bunch of free resources on my website, Myers Mathematics. But the primary resource that I want to give out to everybody, no matter what, is that one, because it's just a general guide on just how do I get the math problem right. So if that sounds helpful, you can go check that out, myersmathematics.com. And yeah, you just tell me what email to send it to, and I send it to your email box. 3v5 plus 12v5, so that's 15v5. v5. Got v3 plus 4v3. Boom, boom. And then we've got v2 plus 4v2. All right, I'm going to start speed running this a little bit as we go here, and just start finishing out this this document here. So let's see, 4s. That's 3 minus 1 is 2. b4. Cross out, cross out. b3. All right, so plus 15 b3. b3. And then that's a plus 3 now, so that's minus 3. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm going to switch colors again and drop this down and do another 4. Because after these next 4 here, they're just like one at a time, because they're so long that they have to be written on one line. Except for 25, but I feel like maybe 26 was too long or something like that. Anyways, let's do this. Okay, so minus 4k4 with the 4's together. Boom, boom. Then we've got, oh, I forgot the k5. I didn't see the k5. Let's put that there. It doesn't have to necessarily be in order, unless your teacher says it does. So it's not a huge deal. But if your teacher says it has to be in order, like descending largest power first, then you would want to switch that around. Let's see, k3s plus 3k3. Those guys went together. And then a minus 3. Right? Cool. All right, largest power is 4. So 6 minus 4 is 2k4. Boom, boom. Then a k2. I've only got one k2. Minus 10k2. And then I've got 2k's. Minus 7k. Boom, boom. And then a minus 14. Boom, done. Okay, next we've got, now there's a negative. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually not going to show the distributing. I'm going to just do it in my head. So remember I was saying, like, I'm going to try to like knock these problems out faster as I go. That's kind of to show you the progression that you want to have. Like, you want to kind of get better at this as you go until you get so good at this that you can basically just boom, get the answer, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to model as I go here. Like, what would it look like for you to like master this, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to do biggest power first. I think that's a really good way to look at it. Biggest power first, that way you can kind of get all of them. And they're in descending order, which looks nice, and some teachers want you to have it like that. But it's minus 7 plus 14, right? So I'm distributing the negative in my head. It's a minus, and then there's a minus in front of the 14. So it's a plus, right? So that's actually negative 7n squared plus 14n squared. So 7n squared. Boom, boom. So I'm just distributing it each time in my head. N2 is done. And then I got n. 8 plus 11 is 19. Right, so I just distributed the negative again in my head. And then negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. Boom, boom. See how that was a little bit faster? It's a little harder to do that though, right? So I wouldn't start, if you're still a little rusty at this, do it how I did it at the beginning, not how I'm doing it now, right? So this is just a progression. Like, start where you feel comfortable and then go from there. 5 is the biggest. So that's minus 9 minus 5. P5. Boom, boom. 4 is the next one. 14 P4. Then we have a 2. We have two 2's. 11 and 11. So 22 P2. And then a plus 14. All right, got them all. All right, I'm going to switch colors again. And this will be either the last time I switch colors or the second to last, because we've got just a few more here now. I think there's 30 I counted earlier. Okay, let's check this out. So K2, that's the biggest. It's plus, so 3K2. Boom, boom. Then we've got 8 and 10. Like that, boom, boom. And then plus 1. Boom, boom. Now notice I've still been crossing them out. I think crossing them out is a good idea no matter what, even if you're going super fast. That way you can just make sure you got them all. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm going to do that just to make sure I get the right answer. I think you're more likely to get the wrong answer if you don't do that. So, oh, there's a bunch of 2s. Wow. Okay. Oh, and here's a new thing. This is a new thing. Let's pause for a second. There's a new thing. Remember I said let's go back up to the top. Let me show you something. There's a new thing here. So, like terms means the same letters and the same amount of letters, right? Like same letters, same amount of letters. Okay. So v squared. Actually, let's look at this. 8u, right, versus 2uv. 8u versus 2uv. Those are not like terms because this one has a different letter. They have the same power. They have the same u and the same power of u, but this one has a v and this one does not have a v, right? Maybe that was obvious to you. Maybe not. We're getting towards the end of the worksheet here, so you know, it's kind of like you know, they're starting to get harder here. But yeah, that's the thing. Now, so these are not like terms. So let me erase this here. But these are, right. So I'm still going to start with the second power thing, and then I would put uv like after the second powers and then before the single powers. But you'll see what I mean. So if there's only one letter, it's easy to list them in descending order. If there's more than one letter, it's a little harder. But let's look here. So we've got actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me erase this for right now. And we'll just start with v squared. So there's a v squared. There's a v squared. There's a v squared. And actually, these are going to cancel. That's v squared minus v squared. Boom. That goes away. So once you cancel it, you actually only have one left over. So minus 9 v squared. Right, so that's gone. That's gone. That's gone. We do have also a minus 2 u squared. So that goes away as well. Then I would probably do the UVs next, right? They're the same U and V. They both have a U and a V, and they both have the U and the V to the same power of 1, technically. So we can combine those, plus 2UV, boom, boom, and then a minus 8U. Right, that did get a little bit harder there. Okay, let's see what we've got here. At this point, since we have multiple letters, I think trying to list them in descending order is not that important. So I'm just going to start with the first term and see if there's any other like it. So x squared, x squared, x squared. Okay, so this would be 4 plus 6, because that's a minus, right? I'm still distributing in my head. 4 plus 6 is 10. Minus 9 is 1, so that's actually x squared. That, and that. And x3y2, x3y2, that's actually 7 plus 7, so that's 14. x3y2. Boom, boom. And then these guys go together here. That's a plus 4 and a minus 10, so that's going to be a minus 6x. Right there and right there. Okay, so now we've only got just a couple more here. Let's do this. And we'll switch to another color. Let's switch to like a nice purple color. Cause I mean, this other color kind of looks like purple to me, but I'm a little bit color deficient. So let's see. Let's just get all the rest of these 3 in one go here, so I don't spend too much more time. It's a long long video. If you've stuck with me all the way to the end, let me know in the comments. Like, oh hey, I actually watched the whole thing. It was a long video, but I'm knocking them all out here. Here we go. So U3 V4. U3 V4, U3 V4. There's 3 of those. Okay. So minus 5, that's minus 10 plus 8 is minus 2 U3 V4. Boom, boom, boom. Next, 9U. 8U? No other U's. 9 minus 8 is 1. So plus, you can put 1u or just u. Then u2, v2. Oh, u4, v2. Not the same thing. u2, v2 and u4, v2. Different. So I'm just going to list them out individually. 8u2, v2 minus 8u4, v2. Done and done. Okay. xy3. xy3, xy3. Here's an xy3. xy3. There's 3 of them. Minus 9 plus 3. That's going to be minus 6. Minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4. X, y cubed. Boom, boom, boom. Then we have x4, y3. x4, y3. There's 2 of those. So minus 9 plus 3 minus 6 x4, y3. Boom, boom. Next is 7, y4. That doesn't have anything else. We're only down to the last 2 here. 7, y4 and minus 8 x4, y4. Boom and boom. Got them all. Okay, y3. Let's see. y3, y3, y3. There's 1. There's only those 2. Okay. So that's y and that's 1, right? So 1 plus 6, 7. 7, y3. Boom and boom. x4, y4. Let's see. x4, y4, x4, y4, x4, y4. There's 3 of those. Okay, so minus 7 plus 4 is minus 3. That's going to be a minus 6. Minus 3 minus 6 is minus 9. x4, y4. Boom, boom, boom. Next, x4, y3. x4, y3. Oh, look at that. They all matched up. So that's a minus 10 and a minus 1. Minus 11, x4, y3. Boom, boom. And there we go. That's it. That is the worksheet, and you can check the answers right here if you don't believe me, or if you want to look up the answers to any of these kinds of worksheets. If it says Kuta software, you can literally just Google it and get the answers. Not that, just get the answers and be done, but, you want to make sure you're getting the right answers. And you want to solve it out yourself, but you want to make sure you're getting the right answers. So I think it's important to know what the answers are. Make sure you're on the right track. Okay. So here's the answers, and that's it. Man, we made it. So check it out here. That's there. And if you want the, I'm going to be starting to put these on my website as well. These worksheets with all the solutions in them like this. So if you want to check out any other worksheet that's on Infinite Algebra 1, or just Algebra 1, I think it's always called Infinite Algebra 1. If you want to check out any other worksheets like this that have just all the work in them and the answers and stuff, you can go grab those as well. Now, obviously, I don't want you to like just copy it and and turn that in and be done with it. But go check that out if you're kind of confused on what the answer is and you're like, oh yeah, I need to figure out why the answer is what it is. You can go check those out too. Those are going to be on my website at some point. If you go look on my website and they're not there, let me know in the comments. Just be like, hey, what's up? Why are these not on your website? I can't find them. Just let me know, and I'll fix it if there's like a bug or if I haven't put them up there yet. Then I'll get around to it. But yeah, so have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodles.